Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for this, the 60-second episode of Junk Doctor Who, discussing the 60-second serial of Doctor Who.
The Sea Devils.
The Sea Devils.
That's good fun.
Today I am joined with
Hatter.
Your host, Hatter, and your co-host, me. And what are we drinking today?
I'm drinking Captain Morgan rum, spiced rum.
What's this called again?
Twisted Tea.
Twisted Tea. That's the name. It's called Twisted Tea. I also had a margarita. A Ravarita.
Raviritas. Okay, if you are watching us and you are in Lubbock, Texas, Ravi's on University and about 23rd is having a sale. Buy one bottle of liquor, get the second bottle of the same liquor half off. And so I took advantage of that today.
Liquors?
No, it's buy one, get the one the same. It's good at the end of the month. We're not sponsored by them. No, we're not sponsored by anybody.
This podcast brought to you by...
No, we're not sponsored by anybody. But they're a nice, small local business, so I want to support them. And so I did by buying liquor.
That's our one local shout out of the podcast.
Yeah. But we get
localize
stuff. Right, we get stuff from Doc's and a few other places, or at least I do. They're the ones who carry the Magma Flame.
Our one viewer in Canada is like, what are they talking about? Eh?
We got a viewer in Canada.
Oh, what in the world are they talking about, eh?
Speaking of which, we now have 25 subscribers.
1,000 subscribers.
No, 25 subscribers.
100 subscribers.
No, 25.
25.
Just 25?
That's pretty good.
I'll take that. Hopefully we can catch up to our episode count on subscribers, but that'd be fun.
Yeah, we were keeping...
Yeah, we were keeping pretty close, and then we just haven't had a subscriber.
Once we put the sound phone up, they'll come back. They'll be like, ooh, audio quality's so
I
good.
don't know if that's the thing. I think it's more the quiche factor. Kitsch. Quiche factor.
Niche? You mean...
No, quiche.
What is quiche? It's a food.
It's well, maybe, I don't know, but it's like a fun, tacky factor. Like we watch these guys because they're hilarious, or silly, or just...
That's what's keeping people from watching?
Inappropriate. Well, it's just a thing.
So basically the same thing as niche.
No, not at all. Quiche. Okay. Alright, this cereal, the Sea Devils, as you can see, has the Doctor and the Master, because we got to keep having the Master at least till Roger Delgado passes away, and actual Sea Devils. Apparently they are related to the Silurians. They're basically Silurians from a couple seasons ago who learned how to breathe and adapt and live underwater. Okay.
The Eosins.
The what? No, that's what the Silurians should have been called, but they're not. And there are none of those directly in here. They're the Sea Devils.
How do you spell Silurian?
Siluranes. Oh wait, Aines. Ains?
I have it written down here.
Silurians. I got it eventually. Silurians.
So like Villains.
Yes.
A-N-S. N-S?
Yeah, N-S.
N-S. Got it. I just wrote out the whole subspecies, I guess.
You couldn't keep it simple, could you? Alright.
Eosins, Silurians, Sea Devils, whatever you want to call them. There's some subsect of some reptilian master race long gone. Once again, return. Is this the third time we've seen the Silurians?
Second.
They didn't come out of the cave?
No, there's Doctor Who and the Silurians, which is the only time Doctor Who's in the title of the serial.
And then it had the dinosaur, and they buried him in the cave.
Right.
And then they didn't come out of the cave like a few serials later?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
I don't know, but
I guess I'm thinking
the cereal list and see.
I'm thinking of when like the Cybermen came out of.
No, but there's only like 2 cereals after that in season 7. You're in the companion section.
I got a whole flowchart here.
Oh yeah. There's only two more serials in season 7, and then it goes to season 8 with Joe Grant, and she had never seen them. So, anyway, 6 episodes ran from February 26th of 1972 to April 1st of 1972, and today is December 21st, 2020. We're almost done with 2020. Yay!
So
never forget 2020. Yeah, Little Big. Check it out. Anyway, so we're almost done with 2020. Yay, we'll probably have one more episode next Monday, and then that'll be it. And then we can get to hopefully a real year. Never forget 2020. Never repeat 2020. All right. Anyway, so
no.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's just Doctor Who and the Silurians and the Sea Devils, and they show up later on in the 21st century stuff, the current revival. A lot better outfits and makeup and sexier.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's
I don't know, I thought they were pretty sexy already.
No, there's a group called the Paternoster Gang.
Did you show the camera the Silurians?
Oh yeah.
There's curves on that guy. They're wearing these like really sexy mesh t-shirts. That's
okay. No, in the modern stuff, there's
that's what they wear in the club. Those mesh t-shirts. You can see.
Yeah, they have. But anyway, so in the modern stuff, there's a group called the Paternoster Gang.
The elevator gang?
The Paternoster. And named after the street on which they live or something. And the leader...
word for elevator?
We've discussed that. There was the Paternoster elevator, but it's not what the gang's named after. But it's a very weird type of elevator. Anyway, but...
goes this way instead of that way.
No, it goes that way, but it's a big giant ass conveyor belt.
Would you
7 up and down.
consider a subway an elevator that goes sideways?
No. It's a train. Underground.
But underground. Kind of like
and
a
sometimes
sideways moving elevator.
No.
So would you consider an elevator a vertical train because it's on a track?
No, I can't get on a train and push a button and make it stop at that particular stop. It stops
Well,
at
it's
every
a small enough train, maybe. Like a single-use train. If you go to a really fancy hotel, they have people operating the elevator for you. The red coat and the white gloves, and they say, which floor?
The porter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But,
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
You ever watch that movie?
No, I don't like that director.
Oh, you know? Who directed it?
I can't remember his name, but I don't like him.
I haven't seen it either, but the trailer made it look funny.
Okay. Anyway, let's reverse. All right. So the Paternoster Gang is led by a Silurian who is
Silurian.
A very sexy Silurian.
A lady Silurian?
A lady Silurian.
I don't think we've seen a lady Silurian.
Not
Unless
yet.
that big dinosaur-looking thing. That might have been females of the species.
No, most of them are male. But no, eventually we get to some modern-day Silurians that have very distinct male and female, unlike these old ones. And the Paternoster Gang is led by a female Silurian who is a lesbian and married to a human. A woman human.
They continue to adapt in more than one way.
Part of it, you could say, would be the more modern progressiveness of the show. Part of it, you could say, is just that particular character.
Reptilian adaptation.
Yeah. But anyway, so...
Do they look like Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Like the what?
Gamora. Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, you're talking about the green chick?
Yes. From the first Infinity Wars movie.
Okay, so you're talking about Guardians of the Galaxy, you're talking about the green chick, right?
Yeah. Is that what modern day Silurians look like? Just green people?
Not exactly. They're very reptilian.
Okay.
But you know her sister, the blue lady?
Yeah.
That actress is a companion in 21st Century Doctor Who. That's Amy. That actress is Amy.
I've never seen the actress without makeup. Maybe I have, I just don't know it. Because I know what she looks like in makeup.
I'll show you.
I never really liked the Guardians of the Galaxy set design because the makeup, she's supposed to be a cyborg, right? Like blue skin and wires, exposed wires, but you can just tell that it's just painted on circuitry on her face. It's like, how does a AAA big budget movie title get away with just painting?
That's her. That's the blue lady in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I've seen her.
That's Amy.
That's the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, it's Amelia Pond. Later on, Amelia Williams.
Hand me a blue Sharpie.
No, we got her Sharpie in my Blu-ray. But no, but it's funny that you should bring that up because that young lady
is the girlfriend of the Cylon.
Karen Gillan. Right. She is that's Karen Gillan. She is the actress who in Guardians of the Galaxy is the blue lady.
Yeah.
Sister of the green lady.
Dates the Silurian.
Well, no. She doesn't date the Silurian. She's just a companion of this Doctor, the 11th Doctor, who eventually is with the Paternoster gang with the Silurians, who's dating a human lady who's not her.
I'm lost.
Okay.
Lost.
If you watch a lot of Doctor Who, you followed that. If you don't, you probably didn't. But you will eventually.
Leave us a timeline. A family tree in the comment section below, and then
Oh my gosh.
I'll read up.
Oh, seriously, there's literally only so many British actors and actresses, and they reuse them for everything.
So that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah, alright.
So, let's talk about the nature of the show. We were talking about like them animating the older reconstructions, right?
Yeah, all the missing episodes are animating them.
Yeah, you told me to wait in here to talk about it.
Oh, okay. You were asking questions, and I'm like, well, let's have that conversation here.
Because they're upgrading to like Blu-ray. They're releasing the box sets.
Right. And you can see the box sets I have up here.
My question was, what do you think the timeline is on them animating every reconstructed episode?
Every missing episode.
And you think they're going to get canceled again before they do it?
Okay. At the current rate of animation, they will have animated every single missing episode by 2028 or 2029.
That is a long time.
Well, it's only 8 or 9 years. At the exact same time frame, they should have all of the classic box sets out on Blu-ray around 2028 or 2029.
They'll probably be canceled before then, though.
Well, the current revival of the show may be canceled, but they're going to keep churning out these box sets because they make the money.
So they'll keep animating.
Right.
Do they make a lot of money doing that?
I should think so. So they're going to keep animating all the missing episodes. And like you asked, why when I own it on DVD am I buying it on Blu-ray? The whole point is to support them animating all the missing episodes because the animations are much better than reconstructions.
But you're not going to buy it on like 4K or...
We've got a 4K TV and a 4K player that upgrades it.
16K, 24K.
No, at some point you just stop. At some point the human eye cannot see a difference.
I think we're right past that point.
4K I think is pushing the limit. I think there's an upgrade from HD to 4K. My TV shows me that. But beyond that, I'm not going to
also 8K. Like refresh rate and color quality.
No, as my eyes get older, they're not going to be able to tell the difference even on.
I already can't tell. Can't tell.
I can tell the difference between DVD and Blu-ray, and I can tell the difference between Blu-ray and 4K mostly, but somewhere in that shift, I think is where most eyes lose the capability to tell the difference.
Because they're already doing like 8K in the theaters. And like 8K monitors.
Well, on a TV that big, or on a screen that big, you may need it, but not on a regular size TV. I could have a TV the size of the wall behind the camera.
That'd be pretty cool.
And
we should do that.
It might need 8K, but 4K would probably be more than good enough.
Dude, I'd get a projector.
No, okay. These days, it would cost like an insane amount of money. All right, can we talk about Doctor Who?
Yeah, about Doctor Who. You have the first running, and then the revival. How long did that? What's the longest running of the show?
Okay.
Do you think history is going to repeat itself, and after a certain time, it's going to die and then come back? So how many years did it run before it got canceled the first time?
All right, hold on.
And then how close are we to that again?
This is a multifaceted question. Right. The initial run of the show was 26 seasons.
That's a long time.
Yes.
26. So we're 26
seasons.
We're nowhere near that.
All right, well, hold on. And that was 26 years. Mm-hmm. The initial revival was just the pilot, the TV movie, and it wasn't picked up. That was 96. The second revival was 05. Okay? And it's still going now, 15 years later.
15.
So you could argue it could theoretically go another 9 years, but
we'd be done by with the animations by then.
Exactly. Okay, but there's several things to consider. One is the ratings currently really suck. Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about this recently. If the ratings continue to suck, it'll probably be canceled long before 2029. The other problem is that there are patterns in the show. Actually, give me that. All right, there are patterns in the show. You had the first Doctor and the second Doctor. They established the show in the 60s. Okay? Mm-hmm. The third Doctor was a new start because you have the pertwee, because you have color and you have a shorter episode count. Okay, so it's basically not quite a rebirth of the show, but it is a new big point for the show. Mm-hmm. Okay? And he's fairly well grounded, a bit manly and rough. Okay? Mm-hmm. So it's the third Doctor. The fourth Doctor is the really popular one, Tom Baker. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you go, you go a bit rough, even though he's the gentleman's doctor, to popular. Okay, this is the third, this is the fourth. All right, you go rough, and kind of a new start. Mm-hmm. Okay, to popular, Tom Baker. Then you go to Davison, young. The fifth Doctor is young. Okay. You go to the sixth Doctor, dark. Okay, that's the sixth Doctor. Mm-hmm. Basically, he strangles his companion in the first episode. Not to death, but he does. And then you go to the seventh Doctor, clown. Okay. Now here's the problem. Huh?
Would Troughton be a clown?
Not quite. Literally, Sylvester McCoy, before he got the job of the Doctor, was a clown. Mm-hmm. And then the show was canceled. Here's the problem. Rough. You have the ninth Doctor at the beginning of the current revival. Okay? Mm-hmm. Rugged, rough. Popular, 10th Doctor, Tennant. Mm-hmm. Young, 11th Doctor, Smith. Mm-hmm. Dark, 12th Doctor, Capaldi. Yeah. Clown, 13th Doctor, Whittaker. And then cancellation. It is following the exact same pattern it did in the 70s and 80s. In the noughts, the teens, and now into the 20s. So it is literally going through the exact same pattern of characters and then cancellation. So if this pattern continues, if the BBC doesn't double or triple down on the Doctor's got to be a female, we have to have another female Doctor immediately, or if they don't try to course correct, and based on the current ratings, the show will literally follow the exact same pattern and be cancelled. And we may be catching up to it while nothing's going on until the next revival.
Here's my argument.
Here's your what?
My understanding is based off of physics, which has nothing to do with television.
Well, except for how it's broadcast. All right. I swear, we're going to talk about the cereal at some point.
Nah. So we have the initial debut of Doctor Who. Lasted how long?
26
years.
Seasons. Yeah, 26 years.
26 years.
Okay.
This is 26 years.
Right.
You have a show. Its initial impact. Its longevity. It hits, crashes, revives.
Well, you've got a 6-year gap.
Right. But if this is a ball, the bounce from initial impact is never going to exceed this. We have the same phenomenon with Star Wars. The reception of the first trilogy, the reception of the second trilogy, the reception of the third trilogy. It's like when you're bouncing a ball. You have initial impact, your highest arc, impact, smaller impact, smaller arc.
Right. And I can see that for Star Trek.
Star Trek, Star Wars.
No,
Doctor
I can
Who.
see that for Star Wars. Star Trek, the original series, ran only 3 years. The second series, the Next Generation, ran for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have
What's the popularity between these two, though?
I think that's a long debated topic. I think Next Generation is getting more popular, but it's because I think it's more popular.
Maybe my theory doesn't apply.
Then you have, Star Trek may be an exception, but then you have Deep Throat 9, which I think was 5 years, and then you have Voyager, which I have no idea and I don't care. Question mark or 3 years, and then you have Discovery I mean, it's just bad after that. I mean, after.
So you would rate the reception kind of on a degrading.
Well, except for Next Generation, which ran 7 years. You could say this was a test run, and this was the initial big bounce, and then it went from there. But Next Generation doesn't quite follow your pattern, although I think most things do.
Most things.
Yeah, it's a point of diminishing returns. Is what it's called.
Yeah. So nothing to do with physics, actually, but that's the comparison I make.
Okay, but you still notice the comparison in the 70s and 80s, and then into this century between all the different doctors, and how the show runs that exact same line.
You revive it, it runs out of gas sooner and sooner every time you bring it back, because it's just, at some point, it's a tired concept.
Well, also at some point, you're out of ideas, and it's all completely derivative of what you've already done.
World of Warcraft expansions.
Oh, yeah, true. I agree with that. Okay, point of diminishing returns. Okay, can we talk about the cereal?
So what happened in this cereal? Episode 1, right?
Oh, God, you want to drink?
We're picking up after the Master was captured. And we all know that he's going to be in prison forever and never escape, right? So,
okay. First of all, the Master was captured a couple serials ago, because last time we were on Peloton. In this case, first of all, this serial is really high budget. Okay, they use the Navy, and we have helicopters, vehicles, boats, speedboats, hovercraft, Navy
cool.
ships, diving bells, and just everything you can imagine.
Did they pay for that necessarily? Or was that just because the Navy was a big fan? Because they do repeat a lot of sets. So maybe it wasn't so much to do with the budget.
No, okay.
It was high budgeted, but maybe not from the BBC's pockets.
Well, I mean,
the Navy is very high budgeted.
The Navy was okay. There's a thing in the U.S. cinema that was going for a long time and may still be going, where if Hollywood is going to show the military in a good light, the military will gladly assist them in making the movie. I.e., you need pictures of fighter jets doing this. We'll have the fighter jets do this for you as long as you show us in a good light. Unfortunately, Hollywood doesn't like to show the military in a good light anymore, so I don't think they're doing a whole lot of that.
There's some of that Transformers, military movie.
Yeah, but that may be the same thing here, where we like Doctor Who. It's a British institution. If you show the British military in a good light, we will help you, and they do. And a lot of it's filmed on actual Navy ships, British Navy, and a lot of it's filmed with the actual ships shooting ballista. With actual howitzers, with the diving bell and everything.
You don't think the test firing was like stock footage?
It didn't seem there were a few bits that looked like stock footage, but most of it did not. And especially the parts that, of course, had the characters on there, you know, like the diving bell and everything. But anyway, so there's a particular tack with this Doctor in which he gets a lot more Bondsian. He gets a lot more like James Bond. There's more
sonic screwdriver.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute, or half an hour probably. All right, so there's a lot more gadgets. There's a lot more chases. There's a lot more cool vehicles, and a lot of it is very, very James Bondish. And this Doctor especially goes that route, and you see it really, really start here.
And with Bessie.
Well, yeah, Bessie's just the car. I mean, we actually get a Who-mobile later on. I kid you not. And we get like flying, not exactly motor cars, but little cars that get turned into aeroplanes and stuff. And this Doctor really gets James Bondish. And we're exactly halfway through this Doctor, like 2.5 seasons. We got 2.5 seasons to go, and this is really where he turns that on. Okay. At the exact same, as you do, and in the exact same, by the exact same scenario, this is really, really where the sonic screwdriver really starts turning into the utilitarian utensil. You know, it's like used to be just it screwed and unscrewed things, and then every once in a while he'd use it sonically. But now it's like, oh, I can use it sonically to find mines. I can use it to explode mines. I can use it to counteract other sonic devices against the Sea Devils. And I can finally use it to open doors, to get out of prison. This is the first time we really see the sonic screwdriver be an end-all, be-all. And it will continue to become more and more and more and more as such.
You kind of see goes on. The writers' minds just go click. This is way easier. Parentheses sonic screwdriver. Yep. Whereas like Hartnell, he's captured by the Daleks. He's like, I have to reverse engineer this magnetically polarized lock contraption. And the writers are just sitting there going through like their science dictionary. What can we use as like a
reverse the polarity? And in the Daleks, Hartnell basically does that, but
but they had like come up with unique blocking mechanisms and traps, like Troutman and his recorder with the frequency door lock, and he hacks the door. I mean,
yeah, no. It's just okay. We're watching the animation of that currently, Power of the Daleks.
Yeah. You were watching
in the main group. So the main group.
So you went back.
Well. Okay. Stuff. The main group, we're completely done with.
I'm a psycho. I'm not.
Part
of the main group.
Well, we've been doing it for almost 2 years. All right. The main group, we're about to do Castrolava, which is the very first.
Castrolava.
Right. It was the very first.
Say that in the most Transylvanian accent you can.
Castrolava, which is the first serial of the Fifth Doctor. We're about to start the Fifth Doctor, but in the meantime, we're doing cleanup. So we're rewatching all the stuff we saw originally in Reconstruction, except now it's animated. So we're currently watching Power of the Daleks, which the Doctor does that, and that's why there's the hole there, you know, at the top. Okay.
10 years, and you guys are on the Fifth Doctor?
Yes. Ooh. But that's most of the episodes. And we had to go back and watch a lot of reconstructions when we listened to the audio originally, and now we're watching the animations where we previously saw the reconstructions. And we've got to deal with all the side stuff, like the Peter Cushing movies and stuff like that.
So like 10 more years you'll be at it for 2 decades, and you might be on the 10th Doctor?
No, we should be done in about 10 more years.
Yeah?
Well, yeah, the number of episodes per Doctor gets shorter and shorter as it goes along. The fourth Doctor had the most episodes, about 178 or so.
Cool.
They get shorter and shorter as you go along. As the seasons get fewer and fewer episodes.
Mm-hmm. So what's our timeline look like? Because we're going through it faster than...
Correct. And while the main group's there, and my wife and I are there, you and I are right there in that hole on the second shelf, and we continue to catch up.
So unlike most podcasts, we have a planned end.
Well,
at some point we'll run out of...
Well, hopefully yes and no. Hopefully we'll catch up to where the show is, but the show will hopefully not be finished. And then hopefully we'll just be waiting for new episodes for the show.
So it's turned into like a once a month thing.
Well, not that. It'll turn into a
speculation.
Whenever they have episodes, whenever they do a season, then we'll get to watch the season. But it maybe we're only doing it like 3 or 4 months a year.
Yeah, so like a seasonal thing. We'll just make a new podcast.
Well, in the meantime, we also have the new heroes and villains we started.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing that. Supplementary. Yeah, whenever we watch a movie instead and just want to talk about
movie podcast.
But eventually we'll get that caught up to where we are anyway. But it'll take some time. Okay, stop distracting me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, sure. All right.
I was talking about the episode here.
Maybe.
Okay. So what happened this episode? Episode 1.
So much.
Okay. Master's in jail.
Alright, so the Doctor and Joe Grant, the Olinga man in this episode, are going to visit the Master.
Is that like a college grant for people named Joe?
No.
You think?
Not
the Joe Grant?
No.
How would you, if there was a Joe Grant, what do you think the specifications for being awarded that grant would be? For escapologists to go to college? For short people, you have to be under this height to receive this grant.
You just really want to test the battery on this new battery, don't you? Alright, no, there's no...
There might be. A Joe Grant. I'm pretty sure I got a Joe Grant in school for art. Josephine.
Okay. Anyway, the Doctor and Joe Grant are going to a castle on an island. The same island has...
it's like Alcatraz.
Prison on an island. Kind of like Isle of Man or Guernsey or whatever. And they're going to this island.
What's the name of the guy that gets arrested falsely and plots his revenge? Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
That's a prison on an island, right? What is that prison called?
I don't know.
Had buried treasure nearby.
I don't know. Unless you're talking about the island of Elba.
Is that the Count of Monte?
I don't know. That's where they put Napoleon when he was exiled.
That was a pretty nice retire. If I were Napoleon,
you just stay on the island, huh?
I'd be like, "This is pretty cool." Yeah.
No.
Retire on an island.
He decided to come back and try it all again.
Die in a chariot.
Okay.
Captured in a chariot.
We're either not drunk enough or too drunk, but we're definitely...
Maybe half of one of both.
Yeah.
2 of each. 1 of each.
Okay.
Do you want me to do the plot summary?
No, you won't even let me do the plot summary.
I'll whip through it, man.
Okay, so the Doctor and Joe go to visit the Master, who's being held in a prison on this island. The prison is a castle, an old castle, and they go there and they get their badges checked. And yes, we're from unit.
Pensive Castle?
Pensive?
Pinvesi.
That's the name of the boat.
Oh, the boat's named Castle.
But the boat's named Pensive Castle.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Alright.
So, okay. So anyway, before the Doctor and Joe Grant get there, apparently there's a bunch of ships that have been sunk. And
Bermuda Triangle.
Well, it's in the English Channel or
English
on
Channel
the
Triangle.
other side in the Irish Sea. But anyway, or the North Sea.
It's exactly the same though. The triangulating the.
Okay. It's not the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is near Bermuda.
It's a triangle.
Well, this would be a triangle in the English Channel.
Ships disappear. So it's pretty much the same.
Okay. So apparently 3 ships have been sunk at point A, B, and C that make more or less an isosceles triangle. And we get our first death like 3 minutes in. Yeah. And apparently there's a bunch of other deaths because the whole ship goes down and you see some sort of green hand come after the guy who's calling in the Mayday on the ship. Alright. And apparently they send out a rescue team. They don't find anything except a really, really charred lifeboat.
Asymmetrically, what do you call it?
Yeah.
The char pattern on the boat was wavy. Yeah.
So the Doctor and Joe Grant go to see the Master. The Master is supposedly a prisoner in this capsule, prison.
He never escapes.
Apparently he's the only prisoner in this prison. Yeah, because when
we see, I mean, there may be prisoners elsewhere.
No, the warden talks about later on going to take care of his prisoner. I mean, apparently the Master's the only one there.
Because he was obviously had an incentive to specifically take care of that prisoner.
No. You remember Brain and Morbius, right?
Huh?
The Brain and Morbius?
Morbius.
The one in the prison where you get the brain in the jar and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that same setup.
Oh, do you mean like a whole prison for one?
Oh no, that prison had a bunch of people. But it's kind of the same setup where the prisoners are trying to take over and the Doctor and Joe have to go in and figure out what the problem is, and the problem's really freaky. I mean, it's that kind of scenario.
That also had the Master in it.
Yeah, that also had the Master in it. Getting a bit tired of the Master. Anyway.
Same old tricks.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you keep falling?
And we're with the Master till, Roger Delgado passes away, which is coming soon. He doesn't outstay the 3rd Doctor. But the Master comes back much later. Well, not too much later. So anyway, Joe and the Doctor go to see him, and what's the name of that warden?
Trenchard.
Colonel
G. Trenchard.
Right, Colonel Trenchard.
George.
Very bureaucratic, very by the book kind of guy. Not a lot of creativity.
Loves golf.
Yeah, loves golf. Anyway, so this guy says, okay, you can see him. And they're like, well, wait a minute. Are you sure he hasn't tried to hypnotize any of your men? And Trencher's like, oh, our men, they can't be hypnotized. We train them not to be hypnotized. And then he sends a guy in, the Master tries to hypnotize him, and the Doctor and Joe Grant and Trenchard are watching on closed-circuit TV.
Window blinds.
They look like window blinds.
They literally are window blinds.
But it's actually a really early sort of blue screen effect for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And they put on the screen and they watch the Master do this, and apparently the Master fails. So then
it's frustrating.
Right. So the Doctor and Joe see the Master, and the Master's like, look, I'm stuck here, I'm in a prison, I've rethought about my life, I'm a changed man. Exactly. And I do wish to do some good. And the Doctor's like,
You're lucky you weren't executed.
Yeah, exactly. He says that. You're lucky you weren't executed. But,
the Master's like, I'm lonely.
Yeah.
Come visit me, buddy.
Come visit me.
It's like Magneto and Professor X.
Exactly. That's the same relationship.
The same relationship.
Yeah. Kind of. Sherlock and Moriarty. That same type of relationship. And so the Doctor's like...
Have you seen the new Sherlock movies with Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I hated Moriarty. He was such a good villain.
He is.
It's just like, I hate him.
He is.
Whoever the actor was that played. Anyway. They walk out of the prison.
They walk out.
And Joe's like, how long is he going to be there? And the doctor goes,
probably
forever.
Turns out, though, that Trenchant, or whatever his name is.
Trenchard.
Is in league with...
What?
The Master, yes.
No.
Yes.
You mean...
You watch this.
Yeah.
Turns out Trenchard is in league with the Master, and the Master has convinced Trenchard, because the Master's a really good liar and hypnotizer, that there are spies and they have to stop the spy ring to save the United Kingdom. And Trenchard believes this because the Master's really, really good at manipulation and lying.
Patriot. Apparently, Trenchard's supposed to be a big patriot.
Or as the British said, patriotism.
Patriot.
Yeah.
So that sounds like patronage.
Well, there's patronage and there's
patronizing
and patronizing.
Yeah.
Patronizing is good because that means to go to a place you like and to buy things. Patronizing is bad because it means to talk down to people.
So the British they're saying it wrong. That's what you're saying.
No. Those are different words.
But they're pronouncing it like the bad one.
Well, no, we're talking about American pronunciations of those words.
Which is the right pronunciation?
No. Okay. It's like read and read. They're written the exact same, but it's how you pronounce them. One is present tense and one is past tense. Same thing, patronizing and patronizing.
Yeah, but one of those is correct.
No, they're both correct. They just mean different things.
No, the patriotism correct. Patriotism.
In that case, it's the movement of the vowels of the mouth as time goes on.
It was
patriotism, patriotism. The
correct.
vowels.
Incorrect.
No. Well, correct for
Went
them.
to the dentist. Did not have good dental care.
No. As time.
Freedom. Drinks a lot of tea.
Okay. Aunt. Okay. As time goes on and language gets older, the vowels tend to move in a circular pattern to the mouth over the centuries. So the older New England says aunt, like the Brits do. We say aunt because it's back here still. Patriotism, patriotism. It's just they're further along in the movement of the evolution of the language as it goes through.
I think we're further along.
Well, no, we're back here. They're up here.
Because we've gone all the way around.
No.
Because we declared independent. We were here, and we were free, made our own country.
No.
We're still back here. We're up here.
You're wrong. Okay. Alright, oh my gosh.
Agree to disagree.
Sure.
Okay. But I think we can all agree. British are wrong.
They make Doctor Who.
They make Vegemite. Marmite?
Marmite.
Yeah, that's right.
The Australians make Vegemite.
Yeah. Also wrong.
Oh yeah, this stuff is gross. Anyway. Okay.
Subjectively incorrect.
Alright, so the Doctor and Joe.
Can you be racist against British people? I think I'm verging on that. Sarcastically, so if you don't know, I'm joking, by the way.
No, it'd be a cultural difference, not a racist thing.
No.
And that's the thing, a lot of people say you don't like this, you're racist, when a lot of times it's just a cultural difference.
Can you be racist against Californians, is the question. Oklahomans.
No, but we can just like them for other reasons. Alright.
It's a joke.
Okay.
But America's doing it the right way. So they leave the prison.
They leave the prison.
Right.
Okay, as they're leaving the prison.
He's going to be in there forever.
Yeah, as they're leaving the prison, there's this guy who's taking them back across the bay.
Boatsman?
Yeah, to the main area.
Mr. Robinson?
Yeah. And he's like, well, there's these ships that are missing. The warden had dropped the statement on, and the master was like, what? The warden's like, it's not a big deal. About the 3 ships had dropped, right? And so this boatman had let it slip about that, and the doctor's like, well, wait a second. Well, how do you know this? He says, well, there's a secret military base around the curve in the land. He's like, well, how do you know this? He's like, well, I'm part of the rescue team.
Great golf buddies.
Right. So the doctor gives him 10 quid to borrow the speedboat while Joe Grant's is on land looking at postcards. 10 quid in 1973 is equivalent of $163 today. So it's like giving somebody $150, saying, let me borrow your boat. And the guy lets him do it.
Okay.
It's like, sure.
It's like a dinghy boat.
Yeah, a little boat with a little motor on it. So the doctor goes and he looks, and the guy told him about the weird scorch marks on the bottom of the only lifeboat that they picked up. Mm-hmm. So the doctor drives right up to the beach where the secret military base is, and starts inspecting the boat.
It's not so much secret as just it's supposed to be locked down.
Well, it's supposed to be secret, but apparently it's not very.
It's right on the coast.
Yeah, and so this guy looking out the window, what's his name? Captain Hart. He's like, what? This guy's coming right up to our beach. This place
John Hart.
Yeah, this place would be top secret. He's like, they're treating it like Brighton Beach, which is a very popular beach in the United Kingdom. And
summer vacation.
I guess so. I don't know.
They don't have that in Europe.
No, they have.
Summer vacation.
Yeah, they have.
They call it like
holidays.
Wee tea time or something.
No, they go on holiday.
They go on holiday.
We go on vacation, they go on holiday, but it's the same thing. Alright, so anyway, the doctor shows up, and all these guards run out at him while he's inspecting the boat, and the doctor says, hey, I'm from Munich, can you take me to your commander? They do. The commander's Captain Hart. Unit, yeah. The commander's Captain Hart, and the doctor tries to tell him about the stratiations on the bottom of the boat.
Striations?
That's what I said, stratiations.
Straight.
Wait, are you getting a refill? What are you doing?
Yeah, I should. Do you need...
No, I've got mine.
You got your bottle?
Yeah.
Just gonna write down another symbol.
Okay.
So the guards on the island all wear the same symbol on their cloak and their...
Well, mostly on their shoulders.
It's basically yin yang. This part's black.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover it.
Don't waste that much ink. Anyway, so Doc shows up, says, okay, what's going on? Why are these ships sinking? And the guy's like, well, we're trying to figure that out. Captain's saying, we're trying to figure that out. So the doctor is left Joe Grant on the other part of the island. She doesn't know where he is, but she has their passes from unit.
I'll pick you up some more markers.
Okay. Anyway.
This is all your ink.
Cool. I'll take some more ice if you're going to get yourself some more Twisted Tea. Alright.
I gotta find ways to distract myself so I don't distract you while you're doing it. Well, that's
you don't want that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oop. Cool. Alright. Can you get the door? Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. Impressive. Alright. So the doctor's like, okay, look, if you need to listen to me. The sinking ship's the most important thing. We've got to figure out what's going on. And the captain's like, I don't know about you. I'm not 100% sure what's going on. The doctor's like, look, I'm trying to help you. So the doctor and Joe essentially attach themselves to this Navy military base in the United Kingdom apart from Unit. Unit never actually shows up in this at all, except for the Doctor and Joe. And eventually, Joe Grant gives the same guy another 10 quid, another $163 in today's money, and borrows his motorcycle or his moped or whatever. And she goes on the island to the secret Navy base, and she shows up with her credentials, and all's good. So anyway, the Doctor's like, "Look, what is this, this, and this?" And it's a triangle on the chart. And the captain's like, "Well, that's where the ships went down." The Doctor's like, "What's in the middle?" And the captain's like, "Well, it's an abandoned station, an old military fort. These were forts built during the Second World War in the English Channel mostly, but there were some on the Pacific side. But they're mostly the English Channel. And they were built to attack any U-boats and any German ships that would come across the channel to invade the United Kingdom." And the Doctor's like, "Well, okay, it's an abandoned fort." And the captain's like, "Well, not really. There's a sonar group that's going there to try some new experimental sonar." At the same basic time, you see the Master figure this out with his spit little lackey, Trenchant or whatever his name is, the warden, and that there's something going on there. So the Doctor says, "Well, I need you to send us there." And the captain's like, "Well, I don't really know who you are. Go back to Unit with this. I don't necessarily trust you. You just showed up out of the blue on a whim, and I don't, you haven't proved yourself to me yet." So the Doctor and Joe Grant go back to the boat, the little dinghy, little motorboat, and they take it out to the water fort. And there are two guys on the water fort. And apparently the Sea Devils, which are the aquatic Silurians, show up and they kill one of the men who are the repair maintenance guys on the water fort. The second one about goes crazy, talking about the Sea Devils and stuff, because he sees the first guy get killed. Yay, children's show. The Doctor and Joe show up, they climb aboard, and they calm him down. The Doctor gives him some morphine or something to calm him down. And then the Doctor looks for the radio to try and get back in contact with the main, with the island, because their boat has been sunk in the exact same way that the other boat was, like a heat rate from below. The Doctor finds out from the survivor on the fort, he gets the radio and it's all been gutted out. So he asks if there are transistor radios to receive music from the island and the mainland. And the guy says, yeah, in the crew's quarters. So the Doctor and Joe go to the crew's quarters, they get a transistor radio, and the Doctor says, look, it's simple, I can change this receiver into a transmitter. And he eventually does it, actually. So then the Doctor calls out for Mayday on his new transmitter radio rather than a receiver radio. And apparently, in the meantime, the captain figured out that they couldn't communicate. Well, thanks to her secretary. Secretary Blythe is really good. She's good. Figured out they can't communicate with the fort, that all the communications are down. So they sent a helicopter. Well, the helicopter's en route. The Doctor gets the transmitter working and talks to them. He says, hey, we're down. We've got an injured man here. Talking about the survivor who was there. He says, can you airlift us out? And the helicopter's like, yep, I can. So the helicopter lands. They all get on the helicopter and they leave. They go back to the military base. We're now at the end of episode 2, maybe beginning of episode 3. They get back to the military base and they're talking and discussing stuff there. And the doctor's like, look, you gotta do this and this and this. And the captain's like, look, I still don't believe you. Why should I believe you about sea devils and these aliens? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, Mr. Bartender.
Hello. Have you heard about what's going on in Tanzania?
No.
You're going to ask what's going on in Tanzania?
What's going on in Tanzania?
Not much.
Ba-dum-bum. Shh. Okay.
There's like 53 million people in that country.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's bigger than Texas.
It's a big old country in Africa. I think Tanzania's in Africa. I got you some more ice.
Tanzania is in Africa. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was sanitary. I didn't use my hands.
What? Why not?
I'll let you guess what I used.
Don't know.
It's my mouth.
Yeah.
Use my mouth to put that in.
Tanzania is in Africa. I didn't know that.
Because your hands are dirty, right? You want to use something. No, you can't. Pick up ice.
All right. So. Okay.
So now that we finished the plot summary and what happened in this episode.
What episode 2?
Oh. Episode 2.
You weren't gone that long.
I was gone for a while.
Not that long. Alright. A lot happens in this series.
This was a packed serial.
Yeah. Alright.
It's 6 episodes.
Could have been more.
This is pretty full, yeah.
So, anyway.
Could have been 6 1/3.
7 or 8. Yeah.
Definitely not 8.
Yeah, 7.
But it was well paced.
It was well paced.
A lot of constant.
But there were sometimes they repeated things in great length they didn't need to. And other times we had scenes that seemed to be missing.
Yeah, they cut out some stuff.
Right, it wasn't perfect, but it was really good.
Some negotiations.
Yeah. Alright, so anyway, the captain won't believe the doctor about the sea devils. The doctor and Joe, because they're both talking about it. Mm-hmm. And you've got the survivor down in the sick bay, on the naval base, talking about sea devils. He apparently is delirious. And the doctor's like, look, you gotta believe me. And the captain's like, well, I don't. What's this crazy talk of sea devils? He's like, well, the guy over here is talking about sea devils. And they check on him, and yeah, he's talking about sea devils. Which are the aquatic Silurians. Yes. And let's see. So then the doctor said, they're talking about it, and Joe goes to the window, and Joe sees the master down in the courtyard in an admiral suit. Because, what's his name? Thesterson or whatever?
Who?
The warden.
Trenchard.
Trenchard.
Colonel George Trenchard.
Right. Colonel George Trenchard had talked with the master, and they got a suit for the master, an admiral suit. And Trenchard went to the captain's office under the guise of talking about the upcoming golf tournament that they were in, because they were kind of buddies.
Stowed the master away in the trunk.
Yeah, and the boot. And the master gets out, he's got an admiral's outfit on, and he goes and he takes the parts he needs for his sonar equipment, steals them, has to karate chop a guy at the back of the neck, because he tries to hypnotize the guy who's running the commissary thing there, but the guy resists.
He resists.
There's no way to phone it in.
It's a struggle. He's a strong-willed, strong-minded individual.
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't succumb to the master's hypnotism.
Right.
Because even though the master's a master hypnotist and manipulator, he couldn't hypnotize, but it was a struggle for this guy. However, earlier in the first episode when we see the doctor showcasing the guards being immune to hypnotism. No struggle at all. Now, the doctor himself, he's no stranger to hypnotism. He's hypnotized people, he's detected hypnotism in people, he's taken people out of hypnotism.
Yep.
But for some reason, this whole prison compound, he doesn't suspect a thing, really. Like, Trenchard's hypnotized, the guards are obviously playing. He is watching it on a monitor, a non-person. he doesn't suspect hypnotism. He doesn't. I don't know. You feel like the doctor would know something's up.
Well, he figures it out.
But he eventually, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Cheers.
But that's a recurring theme in this whole serial, and that's. I love Delgado. I like the Master a lot. It's a cool character. It's kind of frustrating how it's kind of just falling back into the same tropes again and again. And you like to think of it like Sherlock and Moriarty, except it's not really. It's just them.
No, it is.
Not suspecting anything that has happened again and again. You think they'd be better at having like mental mind games and figuring each other out.
They get there.
But they're just constantly turning their backs on each other, and it's almost frustrating.
Yeah, this is still early on for the Master.
If I was a 9-year-old child in 1972 Britain watching the Doctor Who, I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Okay.
I would be as frustrated as I am now watching. I feel like
probably not, but all right. So how many people died in this? Silurians and
not
humans?
as many as the Silurians. A ton of Silurians died. It started off pretty slow, but then the kill count really ramped up at the end. The first few, while there weren't a lot in the first few episodes, they were pretty violent. And then later on, they really stacked up with the invasions and the coups. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 Silurians died on camera. Probably more off camera. Some of that's tricky because you can't really tell if they're being knocked out or if they're dead or incapacitated.
In some cases, yeah.
One got shot in the heart or maybe the shoulder. There's a collapse that had rocks fall on the 2 Silurians.
Correct.
But the Doctor escaped. We don't know if they're dead. They're probably dead. So anywhere from 21 to 25 Silurians died.
And humans?
Not nearly as many humans.
But this is on camera.
Yeah, on camera. Probably 5 humans died off camera, implied deaths or cutaways. On camera, 7 humans died.
Well, you're not including everyone on the ship that went down at the beginning.
Yeah, that's not even really. Yeah.
I mean, that could be 40, 50 people easily.
But we're not including that.
Right. But I mean, it's a good number of people.
For me to include it, I have to see the life go out of their eyes.
Ooh, dark. Okay.
Otherwise, I might make a side note of an off-screen or cutaway implied death.
Okay.
But I specifically keep track of on-screen deaths.
Okay, so...
Because that's what they cut out in Australia. If it's too violent, that's my measurement. If it's too violent for Australia, I count it as a death. If it's a cutaway or like an off-screen implied death, that's maybe a side note. Maybe a side note.
Okay. So the Doctor, so Joe sees the Master in the courtyard of the naval base in an animal suit. After he had already incapacitated the guy who was trying to stop him.
You say admiral, but I keep hearing animal suit.
Admiral? Animal suit?
Just
animal.
Delgado with like this furry bear.
Oh no. I can see him as
you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. You know that song? So let's
so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel, yeah. That was, what was the name of that group?
Animals?
No. They were wearing monkey suits in the video.
Why can't I think of the name of that group?
Well, they didn't have many other hits.
That's true. But their band name was like something distinct. I thought it was something like the Animals. It'll be in the linked up below. I have typed up so many linked ups, but I haven't sent you any.
You need to put them in the channel.
Yeah, I can either comment them or I can send them to you. To put
either way is fine.
Description. I kind of like the idea of them in the description.
But either way is fine.
Because comments get lost. Like sometimes I'll comment, and if you're under popular comments, it doesn't even show up. You have to go to all.
Okay, the vast majority of videos have 0 comments.
Yeah, even so, I'll leave a comment on a video that has no comments. You scroll down to the comment section, it says 1 comment, and that's totally blank because the field is on popular comments. and it automatically filters out all comments that don't have replies or likes. And the default is popular comments. So you have to sort by most recent for like every comment to show up.
How strange.
So if I comment on the video, it won't even show up unless you pin it or if it's, upvoted. So I think it'd probably be better in the description. So I have a bunch of link dumps for previous podcasts.
I'm going to give you the capability to put them in directly.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Okay. Through YouTube Studio.
Okay, sure, whatever.
Super easy.
Alright, so anyway.
So we have the master
this,
here.
Don't you?
In the animal suit.
No, he's not in an animal suit.
Admiral suit, costume, disguise.
Okay, so the doctor's like, we see the master, he's a big criminal, you gotta shut down the base. And the captain's like, what? Why should I shut the base? And the doctor's like, you gotta do it now. And that's when Blythe, his secretary, First Sergeant or whatever, Blythe, she comes in and goes, oh, the PC guy was found knocked unconscious. Yeah. He's like, okay, set up the alarm.
And sound the alarm right as
they're getting out the gate.
Pulling out of the gate, which I don't think is something that would ever happen in real life. If someone's pulling out of the driveway as the alarm's going off,
he got through just before the alarm.
You'd think the security guards would be like, hey, stop that person.
Right, but he got
Why is the alarm going off?
He got through just before the alarms were going off.
I feel like in practice, they would go after the person they just let out the gate after the alarm just goes off. Just to make sure.
It's like the doctor in that one serial. He's driving Bessie, and he follows the military convoy, and he just barely gets in as the bar is going down, Yeah.
So once again, the guards are not great at being guards.
It's true. Alright, so, what's his name? Tesseract?
The Tesseract. Trenchard?
Tesseract
is the blue square from the cube from Thor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what a Tesseract is, right?
That's the name of my computer case.
Right, but you know what a Tesseract is?
I thought it was the blue thing.
Well, yes.
Oh, it's also the thing from Transformers, right? The Tesseract cube?
Originally, it means...
Cube.
No. No, it means to take a point here in space and a point here in space and to curve space until they're the same spot.
So like a wrinkle and... What do they call it?
Well, actually, wrinkle in time is where it came from.
What's the name of it? Warping? Space warping?
Not exactly, but kind of.
It's like how you connect 2 points in space by wrinkling them.
Right. And that's a tesseract. Oh. And then eventually it became the Tesseract cube and the other things.
Trenchard is his name, though.
Trenchard.
Although, Tesseract would be a way cooler name.
It would. Okay, so they get back to the castle over on the other part of the island.
I renamed my PC, by the way. It was called the Tesseract. I went into settings and I named my PC as the Dopamine Machine.
Dopamine?
Dopamine Machine. Yeah. Makes me feel good, man. And play video games.
Yeah. Minecraft.
Brain chemicals.
Yeah. Minecraft. Terraforming Mars, that kind of stuff.
You're playing World of Warcraft, you get experience. It's called dopamine points.
Okay. So anyway,
makes my brain feel good.
So then the Doctor and Joe...
Rogue is level 16.
The Doctor and Joe decide to go back to the castle and double check on the Master and Trenchard.
Trenchard.
They go back there and they check on them, and the Master's like, "Oh, leave the Doctor to me." But the
Doctor's like, "He's been here the whole time. What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
he's reading a book.
But let me send you his direction just so you can be sure. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, the Doctor sends Joe away to go back to tell the unit what's going
the guards on. In the prison because they're all mind washed.
Yeah, they're all brainwashed and they're all under the... it's obvious that they are under the Master's control.
You think that it would have been obvious? in the first episode.
And mostly always.
Yeah.
So the doctor goes down to the master's cell, and the master ends up confronting him, and they end up dueling. Because the master pulls out a gun, he knocks out the guard, the guard falls down, the master says, ooh, I've got a gun, I've got a knife. So the doctor shows up, the master confronts him and says, aha, and he pulls out a gun, and the doctor just shuts the door, which is fantastic.
Good evening.
Good evening, bye. And then the master opens the door, goes out, and the doctor Venusian Kung Fu's out the gun from his hand, and there's happened to be sabers on the wall.
Yeah,
and they
fencing rapiers.
Right, fencing rapiers, and they start dueling.
Jousting swords.
To be fair, it is a castle. I could see jousting swords all about.
In a prison, though.
So they
right by the guard door.
Yeah, they're fighting, and they go for a good bit. The master the doctor eventually defeats the master after about 4 minutes.
My favorite scenes. It's a good one.
Okay. End of episode 2. Right?
Yeah, they're fencing. The doctor overpowers the master, disarms him,
gives him back the
sword back. They keep going at it. The master looks like he's about to overtake the doctor. The doctor kicks him off. Overcomes the master again. Then the master pulls out a knife and throws it at him. End of the episode.
You don't see what happens with the knife.
The next episode, he missed. It sticks on the wall. Oh.
Yeah, it's about 3 inches to the doctor's left. Yeah.
But they replay the whole fight scene at the beginning of the next episode, which I didn't really mind. It was a pretty cool fight scene.
Yeah, it was a cool fight scene.
One of my favorite scenes.
Right, but they could have moved. I mean, yeah, I understand why they did it for pacing.
It does feel like kind of like padding.
Yeah, but in the 6th episode, we were missing scenes that could have made a 7th episode.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, the master, the doctor gets captured.
Yeah, the guards storm in after the master misses with the knife.
And the master's like, he tried to kill me.
I was defending myself. He tried to murder me. And then...
So they take the doctor off. They hold him as prisoner in this prison. And they capture Joe.
Yeah, she didn't make it to the base, by the way.
Yeah. Well, they try to stop her at the gate, but she manages to somehow overpower these 2 big guards.
She karate chops, and then she takes this hunched over guy that she just hit in the gut, and she rams his head into the gut of the other guy.
Pretty good move, actually. I was surprised, but I was like, okay, I can believe this if the doctor was teaching her some of these moves, you know?
Which she does it again later.
Correct, yeah. So I'm like, he was teaching her that.
Kung Fu, yeah.
So she runs off onto the grounds.
Very good observation.
Yay.
Observation.
She runs off onto the grounds they're looking for, but it's a very big set of grounds.
Masturbation. Observation? You're a master at observation, you can call that.
No.
Masturbation?
No.
Master observation? What do you call it when you're a master at, like, baiting fishing hooks?
I'm a master fisherman.
But not you're bad at fishing, just you're really good at putting a worm on the hook.
Yeah. The servant waits while the master baits.
Yeah.
History of the World Part 1.
So you know how have I seen that? History of the World Part 1?
I don't remember.
I don't know that reference, but you know how
I'll show it to
you have like manservants or like butlers, and they call you master and your last name, so you'd be like Master Gwendolyn.
Well, your last name was Bates.
Bates is a last name. Okay. Would your butlers call you Master Bates?
Okay. Check the movie list. See if you've seen History of the World Part 1.
I haven't.
Okay, if it's on the list, put it on the list.
Okay.
Alright. So anyway, doctor's being held in this prison against his will. Joe's running around the grounds.
Is there a part 2?
No.
Okay. Oh, we're in part 2.
Sure. Okay. Joe runs around the grounds. She eventually makes her way back to the castle. She helps to extricate the doctor because of her doctorate in escapology. She manages to get in.
Extricate.
No, master.
Extrication. Extricate.
Escapology. She manages to extricate him.
Extrication.
She manages to free him, even though he's manacled to a chair.
What do you call it when you...
You talking about that scene?
Masticate?
To masticate is to chew. No, to masticate is to chew.
Okay. Do you know what this is called?
Elbow.
It's a weenus. It's the medical term.
Venus.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what this part's called?
What?
A vagina. It's the medical term for a... I'm not making that. You didn't do that in grade school?
No.
People would be like, I'm touching your weenus.
Okay.
And then all the 2-year-olds with second graders would have a big laugh.
Okay. Anyway, so she gets back. She rescues the doctor. They manage to escape, and they're running around the grounds.
She's more Venusian kung fu.
Yeah, she's.
They
more
did the Three Stooges gag where the doctor distracts the guard, and then she lies down on all fours behind him as like a tripping pose.
And the doctor pushes him with his head. He falls over,
and she karate chops him in the neck.
Pretty cool. So anyway, they get away.
And then she pokes him in the eyes, and he does that.
No, that didn't happen.
Pulls on the ears. And
that didn't happen.
They throw a cream pie at each other.
So they get away, and they go back to the Navy Yard, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they go back to the Navy Yard.
They warn Hart about the prison guard.
All right. In the meantime, the master has completely assembled his weird sonic device.
His communication array that taught to the Eosins, Silurians.
Well, the Sea Devils.
The Sea Devils.
In the meantime, before the doctor and Joe get away, they'll run to the beach on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the master and Tesseract, what's his name? Trenchard show up here. They've got a bunch of guards here.
They have a minefield.
There's a minefield here. And here's the doctor and Joe.
Ocean here.
Right. And coming up from the ocean, thanks to the master's thing, is a sea devil. And so the doctor's like,
so you're between a rock and a hard place and a harder place and the hardest place.
And so the doctor's like, the only way to go is through the minefield. And
there's a lot of rocks and hard places around.
Right, and there's a lot of barbed wire around the minefield.
Yeah.
It's old, World War II minefields, English Channel, trying to prevent the Germans from coming in. And the doctor does the most gallant thing you can do, and he throws his own body on top of the barbed wire so that Joe can walk across him and not be injured. And that happens a couple of times. Incredibly gallant. Mm-hmm. Then
also, I think he has better clothing for it.
You could argue that, but
still, like a cloak.
Right, but still,
he's just body slamming these wires.
Right, I mean, he throws his body on it. And she walks across. The second time she really doesn't. She kind of sidesteps over.
That was a weird scene.
But the first time she does.
This is a weird scene because he throws his back on the barbed wire so she can cross, and then he rolls off it, and then does it again. And there he is lying down, flattening out the barbed wire to make her a path. And she decides to go around and kind of trudge through the wire anyway.
Well, but
she kind of
mostly, yeah. But so that's the first time we see the sonic screwdriver used as an all-utilitarian tool.
Yes.
Because that's when he's like, oh, I can find mines. Okay, cool. But then he changes it. Oh, I can
the Silurians were coming.
Yeah, after Silurian comes after him, I can blow up the mines, just fend off the Silurian. Oh, I can change it to sonic mode to counteract the sonic that the Master's sending to the Silurian. I mean,
I missed that part.
Yeah, he does that. And he does like 3 different things with it in a matter of a minute or 2. Mm-hmm. And suddenly the sonic screwdriver is finally becoming this all-encompassing tool that you see it later on as. And
Batman's utility belt.
Essentially. And even later on, he uses it to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the serial where the sonic screwdriver really comes into its own. It existed previously, but not anywhere near as utilitarian
garage door opener
and as universal effect as it is now, right?
You're sonically as a screwdriver.
Right. Okay. So they escape. They get back to the Navy base. They're like, "This is bad. These guys are bad." And the doctor's like, "Look, I can talk to them. Let me make peace with them. Do you have a diving vessel available?" Mm-hmm. And the captain's like,
"What do you call that?"
"A diving bell."
Bell.
Right, like a bell jar.
Yeah.
Okay, you've seen a bell jar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a bell jar, and then the person's in it, and they go down, but it keeps the oxygen in there. Mm-hmm. And as long as they've got the deal closed.
Do you remember that scene in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie where they have the rowboat and they're walking on the surface of the...
Yeah.
And they have the air bubble. You remember that scene?
Vaguely.
Where...
I think.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Kind of like that. Except that doesn't actually work.
Okay.
because the Mythbusters tried it in the wooden boat with a big air bubble and it floats to the surface.
They'd have to have handles inside.
Well, they're holding it down just like two people's body weights wouldn't be able to hold a rowboat with an air bubble under the surface. Like they did. They busted it out on Mythbusters. But a diving bell is different. Cause
it's steel.
Very heavy.
Okay. So anyway, so the doctor goes down. He's finally really got the captain on his side, right? The captain's finally listening to him.
Yeah.
And they go under the Navy ship, and this is all shown. It's all pretty big budget. And he gets in the diving bell, and they send the diving bell down, and they're communicating with him via remote walkie-talkie, and they're like, "Hey, are you doing okay? Do we need to bring it up?" And the doctor's like, "No, under no circumstance." And then it cuts out.
Don't worry about me.
Yeah. Then it cuts out.
Oh wait, what is that?
Right. And they bring the diving bell up, and the diving bell comes back up, but it's empty. The doctor's gone. So end of episode 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So then episode 5, you see this weird foamy looking contraption that they open up, and the doctor's in it, and it was the way for them to bring the doctor from the diving bell through the water to their lair. Right, it's not explained, but it's just kind of shown.
It looks like oddly organic.
Yeah, it looks like insulation foam.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And to be fair, back in the 70s, that was probably a reasonable special effect, but nowadays, no. Like, you'll see later on, there's one monster is a guy in bubble wrap, painted green, and it's really hokey.
That seems bad even for like...
Right, it's the arc in space, and but then it was kind of unusual because most people have not seen bubble wrap. Today, everyone's seen bubble wrap, so it's really stupidly hokey.
People got really upset when they, for the prequel trilogy in Star Wars, when they repurposed the women's razors as walkie-talkies, communication devices. There's these Venus razors that were on TV commercials.
Yeah.
And then they spray painted it and put a wire on it, and they turned it into a communications prop. I never would have guessed. I thought it was a pretty good looking prop, but apparently everyone was upset about it back in the day.
Okay. There was a lot more things to be upset about the prequels than
That's true.
Alright, so anyway, they bring the doctor down into their lair, and the doctor's like, "Look, humans don't hate you. We need to make peace. The humans have millions and billions of people. You have thousands or maybe millions, but you're going to lose this war because they have a lot of good weapons." And then the Master shows up because the Master had gotten the Silurians in the meantime to invade the castle and kill everyone but him with this sonic device.
Yeah, that was an odd... Including Trenchard.
Including Trenchard. Everybody died. There's got a bunch of humans that I don't think are on your count for that. But everybody died, including Trenchard, because it was no longer useful. That was the last episode. And they're all dead, and the Master goes with the Sea Devils, the amphibious Silurians, down to their lair under the sea with them. And so he shows up and says, "No, don't listen to this man. He's a liar. He's horrible. Don't listen to him." And the head Sea Devil is going, "Well, what of this?" And the Master's like, "Humans are weak. You can kill them all." And the Doctor's like, "No, humans are strong, and they're good at building weapons of mass destruction."
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Weapons of mutual destruction.
So the Silurian Sea Devil, he's like, I believe the Doctor. And he says, "I'll think about what you're saying." Mm-hmm. Then he comes back and he's, in the meantime, this Secretary of Defense or whatever, what's his name?
Walker. Yeah, he
Walker.
shows up.
What's his full title? Parliamentary Sub-Secretary of something?
Yeah.
Yeah, he shows up at the Navy base and he has full authority to basically do whatever he wants. And he says that they are ordering a task force to hit a strike on the Silurians.
Yeah, naval vessels from all different ports are...
Right, they're all converging. So we go back to underwater and the Doctor's finally...
Do you want to talk about the eating scene?
Nah. So
he's the bad guy.
He's a bad guy. He's eating. I hate that. I hate that trope. Watch Return of the King, and you see the what's his name?
Slide.
No.
Snake tongue.
No, not worm tongue.
Worm tongue. Yeah.
No, not worm tongue. No, I'm talking about the guy in charge of Gondor.
The old guy? Oh, I know who you're talking about. That's the third movie.
Right.
Don't they also do that with Wormtongue? Isn't there a scene where he's eating?
Maybe the extended edition, but no, I hate the trope of, and this is a Return of the King with the steward of Gondor, where they show him eating and they show a close up of his mouth. Oh, I'm eating close up of my mouth. Oh, I'm such a horrible person. I'm evil because I have to eat. And consume because it's a close-up of my mouth. Suddenly, I hate that trope. It pisses me off. Anyway, they do it here.
He catches on fire.
Yeah, I just hate tropes where you watch enough movies and you know all of them absolutely. Oh, they're having sex. They're going to die. Oh, this guy does this. He's going to die. Oh, I commit the sin of being a man in a movie. I'm going to die. Oh, close up on my mouth while I'm eating. I'm evil. I hate those tropes. I hate that crap. They do it in Return of the King very distinctly, and they do it here as well with this guy. Sorry. So anyway, he orders a strike, and right as the Doctor's about to... He's got the head Silurian to allow him to negotiate peace with the humans. Then all the warships strike on the Silurian base underwater, and it's rocking and it's rolling, and some of them are dying, and the head Silurian's like, "Nope, can't trust humans. Sorry, Doctor, you're wrong. You're right, Master. We're gonna go ahead and
which seems like
hit them
flawed
back."
logic. You indiscriminately attack somebody. And then someone offers, the possibility of maybe there's peace, you can avoid war. And then they just so happen to retaliate on you, indiscriminately sinking their ships. And you go, "Oh no, they can't be trusted." That doesn't seem like a...
Okay, that's logical. But so much about war is illogical. It's passions and it's hate and it's fear, and so that's why that happens.
That's to keep myself immersed during this serial, to explain away a lot of things. That's what I kept telling myself. It's like, that guy's really stressed out. That's why he didn't pick up on that obvious thing.
Okay, so At this point,
so this is they drag the doctor off. They say he must die, and then
did we miss completely the invasion of the naval base by the Silurians?
No, that happens afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
So the master's convincing them. See, humans can't be trusted. So the Silurians are like, well, let's strike back. And he says, no, convince them that we have been defeated.
No,
and let them think.
That happened before.
That was not.
No. The invasion of the naval base happens early in episode 5.
Yeah, 5.
We're later in episode 5.
Evil eating, but cool scene with reptiles coming out of the sea. So that happens after. So Walker walks in. He takes control.
Right.
Orders the attack. They convince them that the base was destroyed and the Silurians were defeated.
But I'm talking about the part where the doctor was trying to convince them to make peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened as the first strike was happening.
Right.
They convinced Walker that they had defeated the Silurians because they saw
debris, dead bodies.
And then they dragged the doctor away and imprisoned him, and then they're like, alright, now we're going to counterattack. Because I need more technology, we have to convince them that they defeated us so that I can have time to wake up. This was a flawed logic and when I was watching it too, because the master suggests let's deceive the humans by thinking that they defeated us, so that I can have time to wake up the rest of the Silurians. Except there's a faulty triggering mechanism, so I need more stuff to make a repair triggering mechanism to wake up the Silurians.
Naval base.
To get that stuff, we have to counterattack. He's like, don't attack them, convince them that they won, and then attack them.
Well, it's a surprise attack.
It is a surprise attack. So the doctor is in jail. The master and the Silurians are doing their counterattack. They're coming out of the ocean. Meanwhile, the doctor's escaping from the prison.
No, this is before the doctor escapes with the submarine guys.
Right.
We completely missed the submarine guys.
Yeah. That's they're dragging the doctor to the prison. There's the avalanche. You know, the cave in. It knocked out the Silurians. The doctor dove out of the way. He got their heat gun. Blasts the hole in the thing. Opens the door. Rescues the submarine guys. They go back to the submarine ship.
Right. The submarine that we forgot to mention was sent out by the captain to go check out the undersea to see what was going on. They didn't find anything. Okay, we're in episode 2 off here. They didn't find anything.
You're a minute.
Okay.
We're there.
They didn't find anything until they do, and suddenly they lose all their power. And all the power, the submarine goes sinking to the seabed. This is very, very disjointed. My apologies. Anyway, so this relatively young, say 35-ish submarine captain, and his number 1 looks about 28. They're the submarine, and they're like, oh, we're at the seabed, we're being attacked. These things are breaking in, and what's breaking in is, of course, the amphibious Silurians, the Sea Devils. And they're at the bottom, they have no power, the Sea Devils come in. The Sea Devils tell them, they break in, these guys end up surrendering after a bunch of them die. Sea Devils come in and take them to the fort, which of course they have to do. And then they are taken into an underwater port, you know, kind of really underwater, kind of like Indiana Jones of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the original. Anyway, so they're there. The doctor manages to get away. The doctor manages to rescue them. They get back to the naval base. And in the meantime, the Silurians are trying to stop the submarine from leaving with a force field. And they're fighting with the force field, and finally the doctor convinces the submarine captain to fire torpedoes at the force field to get away. And the captain says, we'll be blown up. They says, well, it's a risk you have to take. The captain does it. They fire several torpedoes. They blow up at least the pressure on the force field, and the submarine manages to get away. Yay. And so they go back up to the surface. And now we're getting into episode 6. The Doctor gets back to the base. The Master and a bunch of Silurians show up from the sea to invade the base. Episode 6. And they manage to successfully infiltrate the base. The Doctor takes out a couple of Silurians with Venusian karate, but one of them manages to, take down the Doctor. They're dragged into a building. The Master says, "Hey, we're basically going to have to revive all these Silurians so they can kill everyone in the world. Will you help me, Doctor?" The Doctor's like, "What? Why?" The Master's like, "Well, let me show you my plans." And he brings up this diagram. The Doctor's like, "Well, this won't work. You gotta change this, and this." And the Master's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, and this, and this, and this." And you see the Master smiling. The Doctor's taking care of his plans. So they eventually put together this device, which is a supersonic ray. And the Doctor's got it set up. And then the Silurians leave the base, taking several captives. Although they managed to get Jo Grant out through an air vent, because she's a little tiny, petite, lithe thing. Hey, welcome back. She gets out through the air vent.
Standing outside the door the whole time.
The whole time?
No.
So anyway, the Doctor and, like I said, this should have been probably one more episode, 7 episodes.
Half an episode.
One more. The Doctor and the Master go down to the Silurians. They show that weird foamy thing again. Mm-hmm. They go down into their base. And the Master's like, "Okay, this will wake up all the people of yours across the planet." And the Doctor's like, "Look," he talks to the head Silurian. "Is there nothing I can convince you to go for peace?"
We already talked about that.
No. This is at this point. And he says, "No, nothing." And he says, "Okay." And he flips a big knob on the machine.
Very subtle.
Very subtly.
Which, guess what that knob does?
Reverses the polarity. Yay, drink. Reverse the polarity. So anyway.
I've heard that before.
It's a trope, yeah, in Doctor Who. So,
the biggest trope? What do you think the trope is you're most tired of?
Okay, we'll come to that in a minute. Hold on. So the Doctor does that, and he says, "Look, it's going to take about a few minutes to build up power."
I'm going to write down that footnote.
Okay, good. So the Master's like, "Okay." So they set the machine to going, and then the head Silurian / Sea Devil goes, "Oh."
I wrote down the footnote.
You wrote footnote.
That's going to remind me to...
Okay, so they send them to the prison. They go to a cell. And they're in the cell, and the Doctor's like, "Hey, I reversed the polarity.
Yeah.
It's all gonna blow up here." The Master's like, "No, help!" And they're in the cell, and he's like, "We're gonna die." "Well, unless we can escape." He says, "Well, they'll turn it off." He says, "No, I set the master switch to blow it up too. So if they try to flip the master switch, it'll blow up." Mm-hmm. So he says, "Okay, we gotta escape." And the Master pulls out the sonic screwdriver. It's the first time you see it.
The Doctor pulls out the...
Right, the Doctor pulls out the sonic screwdriver. It's the first time you see it really work on doors. Mm-hmm. And the door opens, they escape the prison.
He blows up something in the door. He doesn't just unlock the mechanism, it's like something... There's smoke.
Yeah. And they get out.
What I was expecting.
They get out and immediately find submergible suits. They get in them. They get to an escape hatch. Like I said, this episode should have been 2. There's a lot of parts cut out of it. And then they float up to the surface. In the meantime, what's his name from the Prime Ministry? Walker is calling out a nuclear airstrike. He's going to blow up the sea and everything in it. but Captain Hart says, wait a minute.
It's actually Joe Grant that says.
Yeah, Joe Grant's like, no, you're going to kill the doctor.
The doctor's not there. And then Hart goes to Walker and goes, are you sure this is the right call? I disagree. And then Walker's like, you don't have a choice. I'm in charge. Do it or I'll replace you with someone that can.
Right.
He's like, well, I guess I don't have a choice. And then Joe's like, but what if the doctor escaped? And he's like, okay, I'll do a ground sweep before the strike.
Right. I want the whole area swept before we do a strike. If there's any survivors. So the Navy goes out there with their nice hovercraft.
They're sweeping.
And they pick up the doctor and the master. They put them in the hovercraft. Hovercraft gets the BFFE.
That's a cool thing, by the way.
It is.
We see it twice.
2 or 3 times, yeah. The hovercraft gets out of the way, and just before the nuclear strike was going to hit, there's a big giant explosion in the area, and that's the the sonic mechanism. The doctor set
the power thing,
yeah.
And then they tried to turn it off, but it had a built-in
device, and it just explodes.
The doctor indiscriminately just wiped out thousands of Silurians.
Not indiscriminately, they brought that upon themselves.
I'm sure there were like women and children Silurians.
We don't see any of them.
They're in hibernation.
Yeah, anyway. So it explodes, so we don't have to do the nuclear strike. And the doctor and the master get to shore on the hovercraft.
On the way to shore, the master has a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's genuine, right?
Yeah. They get to shore, and the doctor's like, well, the master collapsed. And
he's like, guess what? He's dead.
Right. And the guy's like, and they get there, and there's a guy, he's like, well, the doctor said he's dead. And they're like, what do you mean the doctor? And they pull off the mask.
What doctor?
And it's some Navy guy going, I must obey. And then you see the master in the hovercraft going, bye! And he goes away on the hovercraft and escapes.
This is the plot equivalent to the doctor bending down, tying his own shoelaces together, and then like, how did he not see that coming?
Yeah, well,
so my excuse is, a lot's going on.
There is a lot going on, to be fair.
He's overwhelmed, but he turns his back on the master
for one moment.
Who's obviously faking a heart attack. With the whole crew of susceptible hypnotists. He just throws people at the master, who can obviously hypnotize him. Did you talk about earlier when they thwarted the master's invasion, and there's the guard that shows up after the Silurians were escaping their sneak attack on the base? So the doctor is there in the warehouse with the master, and then the guard walks in. He's like, I have to go. Keep an eye on this guy. He's a dangerous criminal.
No.
And he just pushes this guard at the master.
I didn't talk about that.
And the master's like, hey, guess what? You're hypnotized.
We kind of overlooked that.
But why did the doctor even do that?
Well,
he's like, I don't care if you escape.
He had other things to do at the time. He didn't have time to... He didn't think about it.
This is why we're kind of tired of the master. He's a cool character, played by a very cool actor.
God.
The writing is not the best, though.
No. The writing's good. I'm tired of this particular fellow. And I love Delgado. He's great, but I just wanted to take a rest. And it does, unfortunately, because Delgado dies.
I'm tired of the characters not developing or learning from their mistakes and falling for the same... Yeah, it's like he's doing it on purpose.
But the plot is what the plot needs to be.
Guard this guy.
The sonic screwdriver can do, and it can't do whatever the plot needs it to do and not do.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, the doctor saves the world. The aquatic Silurians, the sea devils, are dead. The master though gets away. What are your questions?
Oh boy. We kind of covered some of them.
Good.
Oh, you want to talk about the footnote?
What was the footnote? You wrote down footnote. You don't know what the footnote is.
Gosh, what were we talking about?
Okay, it was like 5 minutes ago. We could rewind the video and see what it...
It's not worth it.
Apparently. Okay, what questions do you have?
We were talking about
for
feet,
comments.
I'm pretty sure.
Talking about what?
Feet? A foot?
Yeah.
I made a note about it. We talked about the guards with the strong-willed minds not being hypnotized and how the doctor really didn't, suspect anything and how that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Heat rays. Return of the Silurians, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, where's the Brigadier this whole time? Where'd the Brigadier go?
They never really call in units.
Unit.
This is a Navy operation.
This is a unit thing.
No, this is a Navy operation. They never really call in units.
Extraterrestrial, supernatural.
They never mess with the unit. It's all Navy, except for the Doctor and Joe.
So both the Brigadier and Bessie were on vacation during the serial. They drove off. Bessie was getting her oil changed. She wasn't in this one.
Well, they're on a bloody island. Bessie couldn't get to the island.
Right. We talked about Joe Grant learning Venusian Kung Fu, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Why didn't the Master kill the Doctor? But that question was kind of answered in the episode.
Well, so we had the Doctor to help him with stuff. He's not as clever as
But not at first. At first, you had the Master trying to kill the Doctor.
Yes.
During the fencing thing and the gun and throwing the knife at his head.
Yeah.
And then they capture the Doctor, and then he decides, wait, no, I need you to help me make this trigger mechanism. Even though I should know that you're definitely not going to help me make this trigger mechanism and work in a backdoor and reverse polarities.
But he did.
But I'm going to turn my back and trust you to make the triggering mechanism and just assume you're not going to,
Evil is,
not do
evil is dumb, okay?
But so is the Doctor. They're both very dumb in this episode. And there's this back and forth
Naive.
Yeah, there's this back and forth of, I should know what you're up to, but I don't. And then the Master turns around and goes, I should know you're up to something, but I don't. So that kind of happened this whole serial. I'm ragging on it a lot, but I really like the serial.
No, it's fantastic.
It's really good still.
It's really good. It's a big budget, well paced. Lots going on.
British Navy.
Yeah,
cool stuff. Action scenes, fencing scenes.
It's really, really good.
Some tired tropes, though.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really good.
I have a love-hate relationship with this.
Sounds like me and my ex-wife.
I mostly liked it.
No, it does not sound like me and my ex-wife.
I do like picking holes.
Any other questions?
I think so. Oh, here's one. So the Doctor, right? He has all these skills, just endless amounts of skills. He has doctorates and he has all this accumulated knowledge, like diving skills and Venusian Kung Fu.
Of course, I'm a diver.
Yeah. So he has all these expertise. We never see him, accumulating all these skills that he said that he's accumulated over his lifetimes. We heard that he went to college, got doctorate degrees. He's accumulated all these expertise. So it's safe to assume that he did that all as Hartnell's regeneration.
Well,
which Hartnell was very old when he regenerated.
Well, here's the thing. We don't necessarily see every single thing the Doctor's ever done. There are gaps between episodes. There are gaps between sometimes doctors. And there are gaps between, places like the beginning or between, in theory, the second and third Doctor and other places where things happened. Yeah. And we just don't know.
Yeah. That was
part of the mystery of the Doctor.
That was my other my other approach at that question was, well, he's a Time Lord, so he probably has a way better capacity for learning. He probably learns way quicker. So maybe in between an episode, he just decided, hey, I want to be a mineralologist. and he just
I want to study stones
some books
and rocks
because he's a Time Lord. He's the Doctor. He picks up stuff. Or I thought, maybe Hartnell was just around that one generation, the first generation of the Doctor, was around for like a long time. Because he's supposed to be really old, right?
Right, and he was around for a long time because his body just wears out.
Yeah.
He dies of old age, and Time Lords do that at a very old age.
Yeah. Also, the life-sucking thing from the Daleks and Sarah Kingdom.
Well, to be fair...
he went through a lot.
Right.
They're at the end.
Right, and to be fair, the Doctor is shown fairly old when he steals the TARDIS in the 50th anniversary. So, to be fair.
That was his first regeneration, right? Canonically, maybe?
Currently, canonically, yes. His first regeneration was first Doctor to second.
And from Hartnell to Troughton, his first regeneration canonically to the second, going into that...
Second Doctor to third. Well, no. First to second.
Yeah. Going into that, he already had the 300-year-old journal, right?
True.
Which means he was Hartnell, his first generation, for a long time, at least 300 years.
True, but he looked pretty old when he took the TARDIS, but that's besides the point.
So I like to think that, maybe he was just a student for the majority of his first regeneration. He spent his lifetime on... It's not Skaro. What's the name of the planet?
Gallifrey?
Gallifrey. Skaro's the Dalek one.
The problem is he stole the TARDIS with his granddaughter Susan, and she wasn't that old, and canonically, I mean, it gets questionable, but that's mostly because of problems that are created later on.
I haven't seen any of the prequel stuff, but my theory is that after a lifetime of learning and being on this one planet caused him to say, I can't sit around and learn anymore, I have to go and have adventures. And he stole the TARDIS, and he's gone and had adventures, which are obviously a lot more dangerous because he regenerated.
Right.
But
you'll see it all in time.
So if, say, hypothetically, a Time Lord were to sit on Gallifrey and not go on any adventures, what do you think the longest lifespan of a Time Lord would be? Like 300 years per each generation?
We don't know.
Do you think there's like a limited... because they wear out eventually, right?
Eventually.
They age.
Eventually.
So around 300 years per generation, do you think? Times your limited amount of, 12 regenerations you're allotted?
Okay.
So 3,600 years is maybe the average lifespan?
Okay.
If you don't, have a 9 lives cat falling off a tree moment.
We literally do not know. Okay. In theory, your numbers could be more or less correct. But
I'm just theorizing.
But here's the problem. We have certain characters like Rassilon and Omega
who are very old.
Who are friggin' old.
But here's my explanation. Because
much older than 3,600 years.
Yeah. I haven't seen the prequel stuff, but I'm assuming those people, they're the hierarchs in the Time Lord Society, right?
Well, yeah, but it's not...
What?
It's not prequel.
Well, it goes back and it shows, the Doctor stealing her. I just haven't seen all the extra stuff.
That's one stupid-ass episode. Well, that's one really good episode. That's the 50th anniversary episode.
I haven't seen it. So I don't know, but I'm assuming these really old Time Lords you're talking about, they're the hierarchs. They're the people in charge. They're the people that hand out the extra sets of regenerations, right? So I'm assuming these big wigs are just sitting there saying, I'm going to give myself another 12 regenerations as a Time Lord.
Right. Okay, here's the problem. The extra regeneration sets, extra set regenerations, is old school, goes back to the 4th Doctor. But we're not 100% sure who gives them. We're not 100% sure how they're given. And we're not 100% sure why. But
we do know the Doctor was given extra sets. And why?
Okay,
maybe we should talk about this after I've seen these episodes.
Hold on.
Because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
In theory, the Doctor was given another set of generations. And, current canon, he was given an extra set of regenerations by the Time Lords from the appeal of Clara. Although that may be made totally moot if the Timeless Child becomes canon.
Here's my next explanation, right?
Oh my god.
We don't know if you said it hasn't been confirmed yet because you don't know if the Master's
We're waiting on Series 13.
But here's the gist: is that you explain that the Doctor is the Time Lord and he has the secret to regenerating, and these Gallifreyans took him and experimented on him and regenerated him a countless number of times to unlock the secret to regeneration. And he's the OG, right? He's the original. He just keeps regenerating. So they said, well, we have to keep the blindfold on him. He's going to know if he runs out of regenerations and keeps regenerating. So that's a guise they put for it, right? That's a lie. They say, oh, we'll grant you another set because we need you for something. But really, they're just lying because he's...
That's possible, although I really would hate that.
I think it's kind of a neat
concept.
I
don't like the Timeless Child stuff at all.
It really paints the Time Lords, the Gallifreyans, as
evil,
secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get there, and I pray it's not what it is when we get there.
I'm excited. It sounds interesting. Even whether it's a guise or not, or if it's confirmed. But I don't know. It's just fun to think about.
What other questions do you have?
That's about it. I just like theorizing about the Time Lord Society.
Right. This is a good fun serial. You should watch it if you haven't. As a side note, we were going to do the second Doctor's best serials.
Oh, the Doctor was incapacitated by Silurians. We don't see him get knocked out very often.
True, he was.
Well, maybe I should take that back. He's been incapacitated before. He's been taken prisoner a lot. They got they snuck up on him and kind of put him in a choker hold. Mm-hmm. It hasn't happened in a while. I guess that's why I wrote it down.
But okay, the second Doctor, we got the best serial from series seasons 4, 5, and 6.
We're gonna vote on our favorites.
Right. What was season 4?
Well, let me pull it up. Season 4 was actually a departure because we had. Season 4 was the Daleks. Never mind.
No, season 1 was the Daleks.
The Power of the Daleks was season 4.
Oh, right. That was our favorite one?
That was our favorite out of season 4. Our favorite out of season 5 was The Enemy of the World.
Okay, hold on. Power of the Daleks.
Which was...
The Enemy of the World?
Salamander?
Yep.
Yeah. That was the departure because before that it was like Daleks, Cybermen, Daleks. And then Salamander. Even though he went up against... weren't there Cybermen in that same season?
Yeah, there was a good bit of Cybermen, yeah.
He beat out the Cybermen.
Alright, and
which I really
season
like the
6.
Salamander. Season 6 was the War Games, yeah.
Yeah.
More
Okay. So...
villains.
We are deciding between the best villains, the best serial for the second Doctor.
Oh no.
Alright. So you have the Power of the Daleks. Okay. The Enemy of the World, which narrowly beat out the Tomb of the Cybermen.
Tomb of the Cybermen.
Narrowly beat that out. And then the War Games.
The Tomb of the Cybermen. Really
good. Good. It was.
Maybe we should put /. It's a time.
Okay. In any other season, I think Tomb of the Cybermen.
Because that's when they're coming out of the tomb and they're.
Yeah, I think in any other season, Tomb of the Cybermen would have won. Mm-hmm. But Enemy of the World is just that good. Okay, so out of these 3, what would you eliminate?
I think the Enemy of the World is really good, self-contained in its season, but it's kind of a hard decision because it's in contention with also the Tomb of Cybermen. So this is like a 50-50.
Well, no, we have
decided
this over Tomb of the Cybermen.
We voted for the Enemy of the World, but maybe because it was such a close race that. Who would I eliminate?
Who would you?
I really like the War Games. The War Games were awesome.
Enemy of the World, Power of the Daleks. What would you eliminate?
The Daleks were pretty cool. I don't know.
Okay, this is really tough. The second Doctor has some good stuff.
I think I would veto. It is really hard. Let us know in the comments below. We'll get back to it. We'll let you know next time.
Okay, no. We're doing this now.
I think I'm going to veto The Enemy of the World, even though it's one of my favorites. Which you can disagree.
I disagree.
Okay.
I love The Enemy of the World.
My second veto is also... What's your first veto? What would you eliminate out of these?
Okay, these are all really close.
I know, right?
I mean, really, really close.
I was buying time. If it helps, I'll tell you my second veto would be The Power of the Daleks. Which I think we're going to absolutely disagree. I'll just tell you my favorite was the War Games.
My favorite's The Enemy of the World.
The Enemy of the World. So what's your second... What's your first and second veto?
Alright.
What would you vote?
First veto, Power of the Daleks.
Okay, we agree on that.
That's
your first veto.
We get rid of the
Dalek
story.
That's my third favorite. That's your second favorite. So it's gone.
No, that's... I mean... Alright, and then I'll get rid of the War Games. I would go with The Enemy of the World. Seriously, it's such a freaking good
It's
story.
so close for me.
I know, they're so good.
That I think it would be like a tie. I think if I were to really weigh it out, the War Games might be my favorite, but because it's so close, I'll absolutely agree that The Enemy of the World could most definitely be our favorite episode for the second Doctor.
Alright, okay. Before this was found...
I just wanted to throw it out because it's such a hard decision.
Before this was found, it was considered a kind of crappy cereal. Once it was found and you could see the video, everyone agreed it was a classic.
See, you have a more intimate relationship with this one than I do.
But it's so good.
But I do agree, it's a classic. They're all classics.
Okay. Alright, second Doctor, best cereal, Enemy of the World.
We agree.
Right, we agree. And next week we will start on season 7. We'll choose the best one from season 7.
Yeah, because we did season 6.
Right. Well, and we're doing this for the whole of the second Doctor.
Yeah.
And then we'll do
this
season
is our
7.
favorite Troughton cereal.
Yes, it is. And then eventually we'll do season. I think we're done with season 8. Or we're on season 9. We'll keep catching up to the season till we're done. Yeah. Did you write down all the winners?
No, I only started in season 4.
You're writing down the winners.
Who was our favorite out of Hardnose?
I don't know. You're writing down the winners.
I started in season 4.
Enemy of the World. Alright, we have it on video. We can watch it. We can catch it up.
I'll figure it out. I'll write it down. I didn't start writing them down until season 4.
Okay, you may have to rewatch some of the videos. Alright, thank you, 25th subscriber. I hope you watch the videos, hope you enjoy them. If anybody has any questions, leave them in the comments. Please comment. We got no comments, but whatever.
Yeah, we'd love to converse with you.
Exactly. And
I'm sure you have corrections and questions.
And
we have answers and confusion.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
everyone. Merry Christmas.
Are we gonna have another episode before?
We'll have next Monday before New Year's, but for now, Merry Christmas.
So this is the Christmas episode.
Yay!
Next one will be the New Year's episode. Merry Christmas.
Next one will be the New Year's.
Do the thing that Hartnell did during the Christmas special, and he said.
And to all of you at home, Merry Christmas.